Hey guys, the Chicken is here, back today with another Boom Beach video. In today's video, guys, getting into your Season 46 sneak peek. Let's get after it. Alright, guys. Alright guys, so we got Season 46 lined up. Mayday. Mayday is the title of the season. We do have a 3-week season, and it's going to be an interesting one. We got some cool deck layouts. We've got an interesting tech tree. And we've got some decent stats this season. So the beginning is a little concerning, as is the theme with the previous seasons, where it's very heavy defensive. It's very light on the offensive side. So I would suggest going defensive early, and I don't know. We're going to see how that plays out, obviously, but the biggest thing is we have 6 chests this season. Now, on the dev build, it will say 6 out of 6, but we are supposed to start the season with 4 to 6 chests, so don't be worried there. It's just to do with the time. If you look 16 days, you know, on the dev build is already like 2 weeks into the season. So this is the developer build, if you don't know what that is. It's a build Supercell gives us to show you guys previews and stuff. So if you see things on the screen that don't make sense, that's why. I don't actually have a million gems. This account is not actually connected to the live game. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Guys, I'm doing a giveaway in the next 2 days. For those of you that have been using the code Chicken in the shop, I'm going to do a giveaway. Something special from Supercell to one lucky winner. So if you want to be entered in that, check the video description for the link to the Discord server. That's where we do all the giveaway stuff. So let's get into it. So here we have 2 engines. Let's start off with just taking a little run through the tech tree here. So we'll go over the tech tree, the stats, and the base layouts, and then kind of give you my thoughts on what's going to work, what's going to be good as we go through it. So right out of the gates, pretty standard stuff, nothing too wild here. We've got a heavy rush meta to start, and like I said, I think defense is going to be strong here. So moving into 3 ERs, we have the choice of going to Zookas or going to flamethrowers. You know, depending on how defensive things get, it might be worth going Zookas, but check this out. This is the big thing about the season. So right after 3, we've got ourselves the DBD, okay? What do we have next? More DBD. So we have 100 DBD with just heavies, and we've got machine guns, we've got flamethrowers, we've got both mines. We do have artillery, thankfully enough, and with no building health. I think 3 maxed artillery is going to take an engine room at the 3rd level. So we might have to save our tokens for that. I think you kind of have to either go one of 2 ways right out of the gates. Is you either have to be planning on maxing out artillery, or you're going defensive, maxing out everything else. I don't know how long artillery is going to be good for, so I think my plan is going to be going super defensive off the start, but we'll see. This season we are back to normal. Last season was back to the roots. It was without flying units and without laser rangers or critter launchers. We do have laser rangers, but we got critter launchers super early. They love to throw them super early at the beginning of the tech tree. I don't know why. I guess it's to make 4 ERs even more miserable than it already is. We've got a sky shield coming out of the gates. We do have our first troop health buried behind the warriors on the way to tanks. And then look at this, guys. We got Sergeant Brick, which is good. She's going to help with her Iron Will. That's going to help out a lot. But then look at this. Right after 4, if it wasn't defensive enough, we have boom cannons. We have building health. And we have early rocket launchers. Yes, sir. And rocket launchers are required. So every single base will have them. Whew. Grenadiers are right after that. But I don't really know why, because they're going to be essentially useless by the time people get both of those 2 things. So Grens aren't going to help you. Bombardiers are going to be the answer, I would imagine. So between heavies, bombers, and Brick with Iron Will, again, Brick is going to be required to upgrade. And I think if we're going the defensive path, we can put a little bit of love into Brick. We can put some tokens into her, because it's going to be, you know, a long time kind of before we get Dr. Kavan at 5 ERs. So if we go the Bombardier route, we have the option of getting an extra rocket launcher as well, or 5 mines or 2 mortars. Kind of an odd multi-node, but so, I mean, people could potentially have 5 max rocket launchers before going to 5 engine rooms this season. How wild is that? How wild is that? We'll take a second here, and I'll throw up the deck layouts on the screen just so you guys can get an idea of what we're going to be dealing with. They are pretty cool this season. I'll give them that. I do like the deck layouts. It's kind of they're all it's basically it starts off with a little chunk, and then a bigger chunk, and then a huge gap, and then a smaller gap, and then a smaller gap. And then 70 Rs has the hole in the middle. And I kind of like those deck layouts. It gives, a lot of options on attacking. They can be really good for rocket choppers too, depending. So that might be a way out of this defensive mess that they're giving us this season. So as we move forward from 5 ERs, we do get critters there. So now we got critters, Gavon, Bombardiers. It's the same thing, right? It goes from super defensive, grindy fizzle meta 4 ERs into I'm actually able to play at 5 ERs, right? So after 5, we do get Scorchers, which have been good the last few seasons. I'll give them that. They've had their moment in the sun for sure. I think getting the troop damage is going to be crucial. I think everything needs to be planned to get to that. I think that's going to be the diamond push point for most people if you're not able to get there with using defensive stuff. So then we've also got shock launchers over here, which are going to be huge. And then everything in 5. 5's really interesting because everything is good. Like, both paths are equally good. Depending how strong Laser Rangers are, I think that's probably going to be the way to go. And I mean, really, this multi-node is the only, kind of vacuum that we could see here. So I think what makes most sense is to go to troop damage, go into 5 ERs, then come back and go to Laser Rangers and Shock Bombs, because then you don't have to get this unless you want it. But being that it's a 3-week season, we're going to have more push points. We're going to have more time where stuff is good. It's not going to be as slow and as grindy as last season. So if you're looking at this tech tree and thinking of last season, this tech tree would be disastrous in a 4-week season. It would be torture. Like, everything would suck. It would just be dragged out so long. In a 3-week season, it's going to be a tough start, but you'll see that things move quickly. Kind of like, when was it when we had the 358 2 ER meta? Like, going from there to 3 ERs, it wasn't that long, right? Although it was bad, it wasn't that long. So I don't want to overblow this as the whole season's a mess, because the tree does get cool towards the end of the season. And right around 4, the late 4, early 5 is when it starts to look like it's going to get a lot more fun. And then right after 6, we have Cryo Vacuum, followed by a really weak, weird Mind Node. And then we have Heavy Choppers, and we have Seekers. So the Seeker guys, they get everything in 6. They get Bullet, Heavy Choppers, Barrage, Seekers, Troop Health, another Critter Launcher if you want it. I imagine most people probably go with the extra Shock Launcher here, and Troop Health. So it's like we go from offensive to kind of dirty offensive stuff. And you'll see right here, they crammed all the good stat nodes down past 70 Rs. So I like this tree. Other than the beginning, I feel like it's too defensive. I think if they just simply swapped one of these troop healths with one of the building damages at the start, that would make things a little bit more easier. But I think it's going to be interesting because you basically want to save up for something, whether that's offense, whether that's defense, and then go that way, right? We have a few different options here that are kind of given to us. So it's going to be really interesting to see what pays off, what ends up being better. Because, yeah, defense is going to be good, but maybe rocket choppers are going to be better, Maybe Kavan with bombardiers and heavies is going to be better. Maybe, laser rangers with shock bombs are going to be better. Maybe seekers are going to dominate. Maybe you need to get to this last building health first. It's going to be really interesting to see how this season is going to play out. If you guys didn't know, the contents in the warship chest, that only changes depending on the season length. So if it's a 4-week season, you get a little bit less stuff per chest. If it's a 3-week season, you get a little bit more. So that's all going to be normal. We'll get a little bit more keys per chest than last season, a little bit more tokens as well. And yeah, I think the deck layouts are cool, and that's basically it, guys. That's basically it. So I'm not sure exactly on the day 1 path. I'm leaning towards going more defensive, but interested to hear your guys' thoughts for sure. I think it's going to be a fun season. I'm hoping that everything's going to go well. As of right now on the dev build, everything looks, fairly normal. MAYDAY might be an appropriate name. We'll see. But if you guys haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are going to be going live at Monday, 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you subscribe to the bell, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell if you want to be notified, and we'll see you there. Good luck, everybody. Chicken out, back.